All right, welcome to this explainer. I am super excited today because we're going to unpack a truly, absolutely transformative concept. We're looking at the architecture of collective triumph. We live in a world that constantly tells us success is a zero-sum game, right? Like, for you to win, someone else literally has to lose. But what if we completely flipped that script? What if we adopted a radically positive sum mindset? Well, today we are going to completely deconstruct a very powerful, highly concentrated four-sentence manifesto that fundamentally redefines what it means to be successful. It's a real game changer that challenges us to totally reevaluate our goals, our teams, and really our own personal ambitions. Okay, let's dive into this. Win with others. Other people must win when you win. You must win so that others with you can aspire to win. You must make honest efforts to enable people around you to win. Just take a second. Let the full weight and rhythm of that text wash over you. It's super concise, isn't it? Literally just 4 sentences. But packed so tightly inside these words is the whole shebang, a complete blueprint for leadership and human connection. So we're going to break this down sentence by sentence to see exactly how this architecture holds together. All right, starting off with Section 1, the thesis of triumph, rethinking the victory condition. To really grasp this, we've got to look at the absolute bedrock of this philosophy: win with others. 3 little words that instantly shatter the whole myth of the lone genius or, the solitary champion. Think about how we usually celebrate success. It's almost always the single CEO on a magazine cover or the solo athlete kissing the trophy. But actually, I want you to focus heavily on that preposition right there, with. That single word is a fundamental shift away from isolated traditional success. It means right from the very start of your journey, your victory condition is inextricably tied to the presence and the participation of other people. Basically, if you cross the finish line completely alone, under this manifesto, you haven't actually won. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it establishes collective triumph as an absolute necessity. Look at the second sentence of our source text. It says, other people must win when you win. Notice it doesn't say it'd be nice if they won. It doesn't say they might win. Nope, it uses the uncompromising word must. It's literally a non-negotiable clause in the contract of success. Your victory is meant to be the catalyst that triggers the victory of everyone in your orbit. It really forces us to stop and ask ourselves, okay, when I achieve my goals, who else is actually benefiting here? Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. Section 2, the symbiosis of success, building the framework. So we've laid down the foundation, right? But now we need to see the structure itself. How do these individual commands actually interact? Because they don't just exist in a vacuum. They create this deeply interconnected ecosystem of achievement where one action automatically feeds into the next. Just notice the brilliant logical progression here. Step 1, win with others. Step 2, ensure others win when you do. Step 3, win to inspire. And step 4, make honest efforts to enable. This is the exact 4-step sequence mapped out by the manifesto. It starts with a mindset of shared victory, establishes the requirement of mutual success, then it shifts to the psychological impact of your wins, and finally lands on practical empowerment. It's like a closed loop, where personal victory is entirely repurposed into fuel for collective empowerment. So, what does this all mean? Well, it brings us to a fascinating question. Why must you win? If this whole philosophy is genuinely all about other people, why does your individual success even matter? It's kind of paradoxical, right? I want you to really chew on that for a second. Look beyond yourself. What is the ultimate purpose of your personal ambition? Well, the text actually provides a very specific and maybe even a little surprising answer to this challenge. And that answer is found right here in Section 3, Winning as Inspiration, the Psychological Impact. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Now we're shifting our focus from the physical mechanics of winning to the mental and emotional effects your victories have on the people in your immediate circle. You see, your success is actually doing invisible work inside the minds of your peers. You must win so that others with you can aspire to win. Your victory acts as a beacon. I really want to dwell heavily on that word right there, aspire. People absolutely need to see that it's possible, right? They need that proof of concept. When you push through barriers and crush your goals, you aren't just getting a pat on the back, you are actively expanding the boundaries of what the people around you believe is possible for themselves. Setting an example isn't just a nice gesture, it is a psychological necessity. Your win is exactly what creates the aspiration in others to chase their own greatness. Moving right along, we arrive at Section 4, the active mandate, from inspiration to application. Because, as we'll see, the text definitely doesn't stop at just being inspiring. As powerful as it is to be a beacon of hope, inspiration alone is, well, it's pretty passive. To really fulfill this framework, we have to transition into active duty. Notice the dual purpose here. On one side, we have purpose one, aspire. That's the psychological inspiration we just talked about, showing people what's actually possible. But right next to it is purpose two, enable. This is the practical action. Because let's be real, it is not enough to just stand at the summit and wave down at everyone else, hoping they feel inspired by the view. No way. The source demands a dual purpose. You have the mental aspiration, for sure, but it absolutely must be heavily counterbalanced by the practical mandate to provide the means, the tools, or the actual opportunities for others to climb up the mountain with you. So, the crucial point is captured perfectly in this specific phrase right here, honest efforts. The full sentence from our source is, you must make honest efforts to enable people around you to win. Let's really pull that apart, honest efforts. That means absolutely zero lip service, no superficial support or empty promises. Actually, scratch that. It's more like it demands genuine, roll up your sleeves, getting your hands dirty, active work to enable the people around you. It means making those critical introductions, sharing your hard-earned resources, giving credit where it's due, actively mentoring, and actively removing roadblocks for your team. This right here, this is the physical labor of the collective triumph architecture. When we finally put the whole puzzle together, we see the amazing compounding rhythm of the text. Win with others. Others win when you win. Aspire to win, enable others to win. Notice how the word win is repeated over and over? In fact, in the original 4 sentences we started with, the word win appears 5 times. 5 times in 4 sentences. That repetition isn't an accident. It literally acts as the structural mortar holding this entire philosophy together. It redefines winning from a solitary noun into a collaborative, active verb that binds a community together. It proves that real success is entirely, 100% intertwined with the success of your peers. Which leaves us with this final, vital question to ask ourselves. Are your wins enabling those around you? Seriously, take a hard look at your recent successes, your projects, your goals. Are you building an architecture of collective triumph, or are you just building a monument to yourself? This manifesto completely challenges us to redefine our ambitions, because if your victory isn't opening doors for the people standing right next to you, have you really won it all? Think about that as you step into your next big challenge. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I challenge you to go out there and win with others.